This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com.
This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Top of the Morning, the best 30-minute morning show on the internet. I am your host, Raheem Architect Soto. I'm by myself today, folks. It's just me. Shouts out to my twin brother, Dual Ali, who is out on the road. He's actually out in Rocky Mount today, so he will not be joining us. But shouts out to him. Shouts out to all of the folks out in Rocky Mount. And a big ups and thanks to all of our sponsors. You can visit the website you see on the screen, tuconservative.com. is the website. You can also support the podcast by heading over to Cash App, shooting us a little Cash App love. Also, as you see on the screen, next Monday night, we got an awesome interview coming on Monday, July 24th. We got a live interview with over a decade served in the NYPD, the homie Sal Greco. He also has some awesome Patriot cigar stuff going on. We're going to talk to him about how we can save New York, how we can save the country, and what else he got going on. So tune in here Monday nights, 8 p.m. for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Monday nights, 8 p.m. everywhere you check out podcasts. So shouts out to the brother Sal Greco. Can't wait to chop it up with him next Monday night. So, folks, right? We got some interesting stuff to cover this morning. We all hear about the illegal migration, the illegal immigrants, the border crisis. We all know, right, by now, unless you're living under a rock, unless you're the guy, maybe even that guy knows by now that they found floating in the ocean after 3 months. You know, they found them. It's out of control at the border. Okay, we don't. This is not guesswork. The border is absolutely out of control. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, Texas has begun the process of jailing female migrants arrested at the border on state crimes, okay? The Texas Department of Criminal Justice, or TDCJ, is now detaining female migrants arrested along the border on state crimes. The new policy expands the existing policies of arresting male migrants for state crimes under Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star. Okay, so beginning today, TDCJ is accepting female migrants arrested by Texas law enforcement officers along the border, said the Director of Communications, Amanda Hernandez, who told the media, on Wednesday, the females will be held in the Lopez unit in Edinburgh. Okay. Hernandez explained this is a continuation of the department's role in the Operation Lone Star border security mission. She said the expansion of the program will now allow state and local law enforcement to arrest female migrants that are committing crimes like criminal trespass and other state crimes after illegally crossing the border from Mexico. So, I mean, let's be honest here. You're illegally crossing into you're trespassing. You've broken federal law. You've broken Texas state law by illegally crossing into the border. My question is, why you're not arresting everybody? You know, it was a little weird to me that they were only arresting men, and now they've stepped up their efforts and have now started arresting females. So in an interview with the media, Texas in June 2021, Abbott detailed plans to build a state-funded border barrier to arrest illegal migrants committing crimes that include criminal mischief, vandalism of state property, or local government property and criminal trespass, which is, I think, a great idea. In addition, the recent declaration of a state of emergency by the state of Texas causes penalties for these crimes to increase by one level. So that means up to 180 days in jail. Something that may be a Class B misdemeanor right now turns into a Class A misdemeanor, so they can get in a lot of trouble. Since the governor declared a state of disaster along the border back in May 2021, they've received more than 11,000 male migrants arrested on state crimes. There's cities smaller than that, right? The department is currently detaining 922 migrants at the Briscoe and Segovia units. When the migrants are arrested in the 14 participating border counties, state, or local law enforcement authorities transport the migrants to one of two DPS-funded migrant processing centers, Hernandez explained. All right, so the Texas Department of Public Safety spokesperson, Lieutenant Chris Olivares, said that because of a large number of arrests in the Shelby Park and Eagle Pass area, TDCJ guards and other buses are on hand to take migrants directly to processing centers. And I hope when they say processing centers, they mean jail. That's what I hope they mean. I hope they mean jail. So the TDCJ began participating in Operation Lone Star in July 2021 to provide relief to counties overwhelmed by the number of migrants arrested. The TDCJ has the legal authority to detain persons arrested pursuant to Operation Lone Star from Governor Abbott's disaster declaration and requests from local sheriff's officers, Hernandez went on to say. The passing of House Bill 9 in 2021 provided supplemental funding for TDCJ for increased corrections costs related to border security. So my thing is that if you're committing a crime, right? If an American citizen, unless your name is Hunter Biden, commits a crime, you go directly to jail. You go to jail. So these people are illegally entering the country. They're committing a crime. It is a crime to cross our border illegally. No matter how sympathetic you may be to what you hear on the news, that they're just seeking asylum. They're just all asylum seekers. That's not the case, right? That's not the case. Nah, that's not gonna work, bro. That's not gonna fly. So that's what that is. It's a bunch of nonsense. And essentially they should be locking people up. Now there's a debacle going on here in New York. And, we'll talk about that tomorrow on Top of the Morning on the weekly wrap up. Mayor Adams is way out of his league with this one. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come right back. We're going to talk about this Rocky Mount tornado thing. We'll be right back after this message.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are back here on Top of the Morning. Our lead just tried to chime in and it did not sound good. So we're not going to do that because that wasn't it, bruh. That was not it, bruh. That wasn't going to cut it. I don't know what kind of janky Wi-Fi the hotel is dealing with, but that ain't it, sir. That is not it, sir. Real quick, I'm trying to post something on the screen for y'all because, like I said, Ali's out in Rocky Mount. Okay, we got it. Boom. Shouts out to everybody out in Rocky Mount. We're getting ready to talk about this Rocky Mount tornado, but got to make sure you come out to this if you're in the city of Rocky Mount or surrounding areas. Sensational Creations presents the Family and Friends Back to School celebration going down July 29th, 2023, 1 p.m. through 6 p.m. at the Oakwood Shopping Center. Join them for music, food, and fun. And let's get these kids back to school, with in style. Let's get them some supplies. Let's get these kids going to school out there feeling good going into the school year. So shouts out to Sensational Creations and everybody that's supporting the movement out there to get these kids back to school. So while we're talking about Rocky Mount, while we're talking about that, right? Here you go. And that's what you got going on in Rocky Mount. A tornado then came through the place, and that is a Pfizer facility. That's been heavily damaged, of winds by up to 150 miles an hour. Uh, that is a pharmaceutical plant scattering medicine and other debris around the complex. Pfizer said it's a large complex. Now, from what I understand, this is one of the largest complexes in the country that make syringes and things of this nature. But Pfizer said its large complex in Rocky Mount was damaged by a twister that tore through Nash County. And a spokesperson said, "We are assessing the situation to determine the impact on production." The company said, "Our thoughts are with our colleagues, our patients, and the community as we rebuild from this weather incident." A Pfizer employee who spoke to the news said that it happened in a span of 60 to 90 seconds, and there was no time to think. He said, "First the lights flickered inside the facility, and then he said it sounded like a bomb went off." The worker said he and his group immediately ran to a designated safe area. The worker said he was too shaken up to speak on camera and said he believed everyone in his crew was safe. There were no serious injuries, Pfizer said. In stark contrast, another employee who was in the lab in a different part of the facility, several hundred yards away, told the news that she didn't even hear the tornado. She said she only realized something was amiss when the lights flickered and ultimately turned off. Fallen trees ripped down part of the fencing along the perimeter of the property. Cleanup crews were working to remove debris and make repair. So apparently this tornado's path started west of Nashville, traveling northeast through Red Oak, crossing I-95 north of US 64 before running out of energy just before Scotland Neck. Nash County Sheriff Keith Stone said the Pfizer plant stores large quantities of medicine, and he added that the debris was spread all around. The plant's warehouse area sustained the brunt of the damage. Okay, so he went on to say, "I got reports of 50,000 pallets of medicine that are strewn across the facility and damaged through rain and wind." He said Pfizer is one of the largest employers in the county. The National Weather Service said the twister was an F3 tornado with winds of up to 150 miles an hour. So for those of y'all that have this idea of some type of conspiracy, they blowed up the plant. That ain't the tornado. Listen, it was a tornado, folks. We're not doing that whole conspiracy idea that somehow this was a manufactured event. No, we're not doing that. We're not contributing to that. This was obviously a tornado that ripped through the place and tore some stuff up. Thankfully, thank God, everyone is okay. That's the main part. For the most part, everybody's safe. I mean, you can fix a building, you can't replace people, right? So, let's just keep that in mind. Now, this is devastating to a community that is already suffering, right? This is, part of what we're doing in Rocky Mount, what we've seen there. My brother said it best when he said there's like a palpable feeling of desperation in the city as you ride through there when you talk to people. And there's some interesting statistics that were sent to us about the health of the city, about the economic stance of the city, and it hasn't improved under the tenure of the elected officials that have been in there for decades. It hasn't. It just hasn't improved. And it's not gonna until the people there vote these people out and vote for people that want to do the right thing and will do the right thing by them. So we'll keep our eyes on this story if there's more developments on it as they rebuild the Pfizer plant there. And, we'll keep you guys abreast of it. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with one more for the morning. We'll be right back after this break.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to Top of the Morning, best 30-minute morning show on the internet. I am Raheem Architect Soto. Shouts out to my twin brother, Dua Ali, who's out in Rocky Mount, trying to get into the feed, but the internet is super trash. It is super duper trash. So we got one more thing to cover here. We all know next year's in a presidential election year, and it's interesting to me because some people, you see them on commercials, you see them in the media, and you think, oh, these are stand-up people. There's this adage that all politicians lie and all of this stuff like that. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I don't put it past them. I just I don't put it past politicians to lie. I just don't do that. Um, this story's interesting because Trump was very supportive of this young lady. Trump was very, very supportive. And apparently, tensions are mounting between Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Trump over her refusal to endorse him as she promised. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a Republican who served as the White House press secretary during the Trump administration, has yet to endorse a candidate in the Republican presidential primary. Reportedly, now I say that reportedly, causing friction in her relationship with former President Donald Trump. Okay. Axios is the one who reported on the alleged tension between Trump and Sanders on Wednesday, citing an anonymous source familiar with the relationship. So I'm leery about the anonymous source. Anytime there's an anonymous source, I'm not a big fan of that. Sanders reportedly informed Trump's team months ago that she would abstain from backing a presidential candidate until after Arkansas's first legislative session, which concluded more than 2 months ago on May 1st. In a refuted New York Times report in March, the outlet claimed that Trump had spoken with Sanders, who received his early endorsement in her successful gubernatorial bid last year, about landing her support. She stated she would not yet do so, according to two people briefed on the discussion. Now, the left-leaning Times reported that Trump was disappointed, but the word of yet seemed to indicate she would eventually support him. Trump denied he made such a request in the Truth Social post the next day, saying, "I never asked Sarah Huckabee Sanders for an endorsement. I give endorsements. I don't generally ask for them. With that being said, nobody has done more for her than I have, with the possible exception of her great father, Mike," he added. According to Thompson and Sparkman, Trump, who has dominated national and state primary polls for months, has grown increasingly frustrated with his former press secretary, as her allies reportedly say she is eyeing a presidential run in forthcoming cycles. However, Huckabee's press secretary, Alexa Henning, denied that the governor has national aspirations and elections years away, adding that she is concentrating on governing her state, which is what she should be doing, like some other people. While many other Republicans who Axios sees as having potential future presidential hopes have yet to endorse in the GOP primary, Sanders' dynamic is certainly unique in light of her prominent role in the Trump administration. Another layer to this dynamic centers around her relationship with Governor Ron DeSantis and his wife Casey, which has budded in recent years. Specifically, a source told media that when Sanders and Casey DeSantis were undergoing their respective cancer treatments, they developed a close relationship. In the statement, Henning emphasized that the governor loves President Trump. Governor Sanders loves President Trump, he said, and believes our country would be much better off under his leadership than President Biden, and that President Trump is the dominant frontrunner and likely our Republican nominee in 2024. Neither Trump's nor DeSantis' campaign offer comment on the dynamic, and Sanders' father, former Governor Mike Huckabee, has already announced his support for Trump. So just to be clear, I will again support President Trump so he can finish what he started during his first term, Mike Huckabee said back in March. So I don't know if this is a bunch of fodder being created. I don't know if this is, because I've seen it in the media before, where the media will report on something that's alleged to create some type of fake dissension. I've seen it way too many times. It's an old motif. They're gonna, create the problem and then kind of take the hands off, like, oh, we just threw this out there. There's a congressman who was accused of voting. So most people don't notice that there were two January 6th committees. Most people have no idea about this. There were two January 6th committees. One of them would have been a 9/11 style committee, bipartisan committee that never seen the light of day. Then there was the Pelosi committee. Now, you've seen this article, 35, you got these folks that are, the 35 that voted for the January 6th committee are rhinos. You guys got bamboozled because that was a 9/11 style commission, bipartisan commission that never seen the light of day. Then there was the Pelosi January 6th committee that none of the Republicans voted for. None of the ones that you accused, none of those 35 voted for. All you have to do is pull the roll calls, pull the votes. That's all you have to do. You don't have to just take it from the media perspective. Do your research, pull the votes. See if I'm wrong. See if there weren't two committees asking to be formed. Just do it. Do the work. And you'll see what you got. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna tap out here because I don't want to, be a broken record here with this, but I do you guys think that Sanders should support Trump? Her dad does. So, and do you think it would be helpful if she did? Do you think she would add some steam to this because he's already the front runner? So, for my twin brother Abdul Ali, this has been top of the morning. Do us a favor. Head over to tuconservative.com. Get yourself a membership, a mug, a t-shirt. We working on fixing the link, but you can go to our Teespring store, the Urban Conservative, get yourself some gear. Also, if you want to support the podcast, you can do so. Our Cash App is $TU Conservative. Make sure to check us out everywhere you listen to podcasts. We drop new episodes every single week on all of that stuff. Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We on everything. And if we're not somewhere where you listen to podcasts, please let us know so we can get our tails on there. Again, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's going to be participating in this event. I want to plug it one more time. The Sensational Creations Presents Family and Friends Back to School Celebration. That is July 29th, 1 to 6 p.m. at Oakwood Shopping Center in Rocky Mount. Make sure you are there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So like I said, we are out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow for the weekly wrap up. Peace and love.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.